Hey, everybody, welcome to our Monday night call. We are so excited about our call tonight because we have a very special guest, and that is Brooke Hemingway, Diamond Ambassador. Brooke is absolutely amazing. I met her at Jewel Training last year, and she is just the sweetest. And it is no surprise at all that she made it to Diamond in 1 year. And she is a registered nurse. She's also a mom of five, right? Five, Brooke? Five.
Yep.
And she's a fitness instructor. Her husband is also an Emerald ambassador, just hit Emerald, which is amazing. And he is a physician. So they live in Hawaii, and I'm sure you've probably seen Brooke's name on the leaders board every week. And if you are not following her on Facebook, she's definitely somebody that you want to be following because she is awesome. So when she speaks, we're definitely going to listen, and we're just excited and thankful that she's willing to take her time and do this for our team tonight. So thank you so much, Brooke, for being here. And we'll just start with your story, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with Plexus? What happened with the products? What happened with your business?
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having me on the call. I always get a little squeamish when I get introduced because I really don't feel like there's anything um, extra special, extraordinary about me, except that I have determination and I decided not to quit. And when I decided I was going to do it, I committed to it. And so that's the biggest lesson that I could teach you tonight is that if you're going to do this, commit to it. And by commitment, I think of like marriage, and I think about how when you're in marriage, you always have to be working on things, right? It's not just, you don't just stick it out and just kind of like if you want to have a good marriage, you're always working on things. And so if you want to have a good business, you're always working on your business and working on improving your skills and how to learn more about the products, how to learn more about the business, and how to become more professional. So that there's nothing extraordinary about me. And as I share my story, I want you to know that every single one of you can do what I've done because you have different strengths, you have different gifts, different abilities. You're better at a lot of things than I am. So if you follow me on Facebook, some days I've got great posts and other days I'm kind of boring. So it's just, that's life, right? Like nobody's perfect. But I'll tell you my story. I started using Plexus products it was September of 2015. I had been watching my friend for about a year, Amy Paul, and I wasn't interested at all in what she had. I had zero interest. I would just scroll past her posts, and she reached out to me in private message a couple times. No interest. Maybe I responded to her, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I might have been one of those people that just didn't say anything. I'm sorry, Amy. But I wasn't interested. Even though I was struggling with some things in my life, I didn't believe in supplementation. And so finally, after about a year of watching her, and the catalyst really for me was the birth of my fifth baby. I had my fifth baby in July of 2015. And I remember 5 weeks postpartum scrolling through Facebook, and I was struggling big time with my energy, with my mood postpartum. And I had struggled a lot after my fourth baby with that. And my milk production wasn't great. I mean, I needed Diet Coke a little too much, and I was snapping at my kids too much. And all I could think about was how much I wanted a nap, all the time. I'd be at the grocery store, grocery shopping, and I'd be like, oh, it'd be so nice to just lay down on the floor right here and take a nap. Didn't matter where I was. I'd be driving in the car, and I'd just be like, oh, I wish I could pull over and recline my seat and go to sleep. That was me. I was like a walking zombie, mommy, whatever. And so I saw a post about breast milk, and I was like, what the heck? I'm just going to try this thing that Amy keeps talking about, and, maybe it'll work. And so I called her up, and I did what she told me to do. She just told me to sign up as an ambassador. That was the best price. And she said, it's not a quick fix, so you're going to want to take it for a while. And I said, okay. I trusted her. I mean, that was the main thing. We had a relationship. She wasn't always talking to me about Plexus. And I knew she was a good woman, a good Christian woman, had 7 kids. I was like, well, she's not trying to trick me here, So So I just signed up, and I liked that she didn't give me a million options. I liked that she said, this is how you're going to do it. And so I just did that. And I feel like that's a really important lesson that I try to teach my team is I tell them, don't give people a lot of options. Like, if they need to be on the products for more than 60 or 90 days, they're going to be an ambassador. Like, that's just the only thing that makes sense cost-wise. Like, when you're talking to them, you're looking out for them as a friend. If they're going to be on the products long-term, they're going to want to do ambassador. So I did that. And then for me, within about 7 to 10 days, I noticed a big difference in my energy, in the way that I felt every morning when I woke up. I could actually get out of bed without an alarm and without pushing snooze multiple times and without my kids dragging me out of bed. And so that was a miracle because I woke up and I felt good. My head wasn't throbbing every morning. I stopped buying cases of Diet Coke immediately. I stopped snacking out of my sugar. I had a candy cabinet that I don't have anymore. And I felt happier. And guys, for like a postpartum mom, that's a huge deal. Like, I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. I wasn't one of those success stories, but the things that it did for me were things that I desperately wanted it to do for me. And everything that I wanted it to do for me, it did. I was able to breastfeed my baby without introducing any other foods until almost 9 months. I had never been able to do that with any of my other babies. I am a fitness instructor, very physically active. And so, when you are physically active, it's hard to produce enough milk. And so that was a great benefit for me. So I felt really good. And this was about 7 to 10 days in. And Amy's like, okay, you should post on Facebook. And I was like, well, you're crazy. But but I trust you. And mind you, I had about 200 Facebook friends. So I was not your biggest social media girl. I posted maybe once a week on Facebook. And I didn't really feel like I had any influence. And I was kind of nervous about it. But again, I trusted her. We had a relationship, right? This is a relationship marketing. And the way she approached it to me made sense. She copied and pasted what I should say. And so I changed it a little bit, and I put that on my Facebook page with a picture of me with my pink drink, and the rest is history. I got, a handful of customers right away. And then I just started to become passionate about learning about the products. And I know you guys know Brittany's story. She was somebody that really needed to believe in the products. I was the same way because I'm kind of a green and I'm a nurse, and I knew people were going to expect me to know about the products. And so while I didn't wait to know everything about the products, I started sharing, right away. I didn't wait, but while I was sharing and while I was learning, I was earning money, and I was every single day watching videos, reading articles like non-plexus, natural treatment of X, Y, and Z, or, gut health. And I would just Google these topics or read on the NIH or the Mayo Clinic or, anything I could find to learn about the connection between things so that I felt confident. And so if you're not doing that, I would encourage you to be a lifelong learner. Always be engaged in some type of learning, whether it's reading Rock Your Network Marketing Business or the 4 color personalities of MLMs, or you're reading about adrenal fatigue. Always be learning, because it's going to build your belief in the products even more, and it's going to build your belief in this profession. And if you're not always learning, eventually you're going to quit. You're going to fizzle because the excitement won't be there. And it's even true for those of us that have been doing this for a while. Like, if I wasn't still learning and tuning into trainings and watching inspirational videos, I would get tired too. So I need those things to fill my soul and to fill my mind just as much as a silver ambassador. So whatever part of your journey you're on, always be learning. She asked me, okay, so my journey. So anyway, I started sharing. I went silver in October. I went gold in December. And then I just back-to-back ranked, senior gold in January, ruby in February, senior ruby March, emerald April, sapphire June, and then diamond 1 year from when I joined in September. And I will tell you, it was pedal to the metal, because, girl, I'm either all in or I am all out. So if you're a fence straddler, get off the fence. Just stop it. Stop, playing around with the business and commit. Like, seriously commit, because amazing things will happen when you're on fire for something and you really, really want it. And the tone in your voice will change when you're talking to people, and you'll approach them with passion. It's not being pushy, it's being passionate. But when you do that, your business will transform when you decide to get off the fence. So I decided early on that I was going to do this. And I didn't even really understand the compensation plan until I was probably about a Ruby. I just knew that I just wanted to go and I just wanted to do it. And so I got my running buddy, Emily Gibson, a month after I signed up, which I know for everybody doesn't happen. And that can be really hard. You know, I have a lot of people that have been doing this for 6 months or so, and maybe even almost a year, that are just barely starting to get some momentum because now they have their running buddy. And so I will tell you, if that's your biggest obstacle, just be patient. Believe in the Lord's timing. It's all about timing. And I really do feel like He puts people in our paths at the time that we can handle it. So maybe there's somebody that you really want, but maybe honestly you're not really ready for them yet. And so prepare yourself to be ready when you get a runner. When I got Emily, I was ready, and we were both super hungry. And so we just powered through it together. And so just prepare yourself, because that will come, especially if you're always learning, you're always improving your skills, and you're always improving your knowledge.
Can I ask you something real quick, Brooke, right there? That was
Yeah.
so good what you just said about being pedal to the metal. Can you just describe really quick what that looks like, to be pedal to the metal? Like, what's a typical day look like when you were going for Diamond?
Okay, so I don't want anybody to be shocked.
We're not going to be shocked. Go ahead. Give it to us straight.
I would get up and I would do a Zoom at 6 in the morning. If somebody wanted to Zoom with me at 6 in the morning, because I'm in Hawaii. And so, you know, that's hard when you got people all over the country. But I would inconvenience myself. I would get up at 6 in the morning to do a Zoom. I would stay up until midnight. I did not sleep a lot for that year. I slept maybe 6 hours a night most of the time. But I felt pretty good because I had my pink drink and I was feeling pretty good. So, you know, it was okay. So I was willing to sacrifice time. And there so often people are like, I'm just so busy. You know what? Busy is not an excuse. In fact, to me, when people tell me they're busy, I feel like it's almost rude. I feel like they're saying, you know what, I'm busier than you. And I can't do this business because you clearly have so much more time than me. And I just want to laugh because I'm like, oh, honey, I teach fitness classes. I have 5 kids at home all day. I have responsibilities at my church. I have a house to keep up. Like, I'm busy too. You know, everybody's busy, but it really depends on how much you want it. And if you're busy, you can do it. In fact, busy people tend to be more productive. So a typical day for me started early and it ended late. A typical day for me in the beginning, because I was still learning so much, was doing a lot of research on the computer to try to answer people's questions. I did not rely on Amy Paul to spoon feed me and to help me understand everything about how it was going to help somebody with their thyroid issues or whatever. Like, I got out there and I figured it out myself. And you know why? Because that gave me confidence and that gave me cred. That gave me skills. That, like, I sounded like someone that knew what they were talking about, even if I didn't really know what I was talking about yet, because I was learning myself. So I had to spend a lot of time learning, and that took a lot of time. I watched a lot of videos. I posted right away. Like, after my first week, I would say I posted 2 to 3 times a day about plexus. I was very intentional with how I posted. So I posted a wide variety because I understood that my Facebook audience was all different kinds of people. It wasn't all stay-at-home moms. It wasn't all people that loved information like I loved information. So I had to do some posts for green people, some that were fun, some about weight, some about, you know, other things, you know. So I made sure that I was conscious about a variety of different posts. If I wanted to reach a specific person, I was intentional before I made that post. I would go to the people's pages that I wanted to see that post, and I would like and comment on their stuff, because I knew that the Facebook algorithm was such that if I liked and commented, they were going to see my stuff. So I wouldn't do my post until I did that. Now, do I do that nowadays? Honestly, I don't. I need to get back to that. But life has gotten crazy. And like Brittany and Phelan can say, like, eventually some of that stuff kind of goes to the wayside and then we come back to that. But you've got to be intentional about what you're posting. So that would take a lot of time, but I did a lot of calls, a lot of Zooms, a lot of reaching out to people. And I was working my business probably, if I added up all the hours, on most days, 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. And it wasn't all in chunks of time, but, I would get up early. And so if I added it all up, like, that's really what I was doing. But guys, look what I did in a year. Like, I gave up the TV, and there were trade-offs I had to make. I don't even really like to call them sacrifices, because people think when they sacrifice, oh, woe is me, I'm having to sacrifice. No, it's a trade-off for something better. And so I traded off some afternoons at the beach with my family. I traded off going to every basketball game. I traded off time freedom so that I could have time freedom. Because the time freedom doesn't come automatically. You have to work hard to get the time freedom. I gave up my 2 hours of TV at night. And so I'm not going to lie, I had to put a lot of time and effort into it, but look at what happened because I did that. Now, if I had worked that hard and gotten to Emerald in a year instead of Diamond, would I still have been proud of what I did? Absolutely. Emerald is an awesome place to be at. If I had gotten to Senior Ruby, would that have been amazing? Yes. I mean, my initial goal when I started was to be a Ruby. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to be a Ruby by July. And I only really know one speed, and that's just to work hard. And so I had a goal of Ruby, but I ended up by July being a Sapphire. So you never know what's going to happen. And just remember, it's trade-offs. If you really want something bad, like I wanted it, and you have a strong why, you're willing to make those trade-offs. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much. And I have one more that led into that. What makes it worth it? All of that hard work and the trade-offs, the missing the basketball games. What is your life like now that made those trade-offs worth it?
So we have 5 kids. My husband and I have been married almost 19 years. We got married, we were babies. We got married before he went to medical school. We got married and didn't have a dime. Like, we couldn't even get an apartment. Nobody would rent us an apartment because we didn't have any money in the bank for a deposit. We had to get a loan from his uncle, So we've been married for a long time. And the entire time we've been married, my husband's been working like a dog. Medical school is brutal. You study or go to school 100 hours a week. Residency, same thing. When he finished residency and we moved to Hawaii, he got 2 jobs. He was working 2 jobs, 80 hours a week, and I literally felt like a single parent. And my oldest is 10 years old, so for the past 10 years of being a parent, I felt mostly like a single parent. And I had just gotten to a point in my life where I was just tired. I was just tired of it. And I could see my husband slowly getting more irritable, getting more tired, just getting run down and being short with the kids because he didn't really have much quality of life. And we had a couple cancer scares in our family with him in the last 5 years. And I just thought, you know what, life is too short for him to be working so hard. And you never know when things are going to change in your life. And so when people tell me they don't really need this opportunity because they have a comfortable life and their husband makes a lot of money, actually sometimes I want to take them by the shoulders and shake them. And I want to say, honey, do you think life is always going to be the same? Do you think your husband's always going to have that great job? Do you think your husband's always going to be around? Do you think that your husband's always going to have good health? If you are a smart woman, you will do this because you will understand that life can change in an instant and you have an amazing opportunity. So to not seize it and to not do it just because your life is comfortable now, oh my goodness, don't be that way. Your life, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Your life can change overnight. So if you feel a push or a pull towards this business for any reason, do it. Just jump in all the way. And so I was sitting at my computer with my 6-week-old, nursing my 6-week-old, doing Amy's Journey 101 training about 2 weeks into my products. And I just felt like I needed to do it. I thought about my husband and I thought about our life. And the thought came to my mind, it's not about you. I don't know what exactly that meant. I know that there were lives I was supposed to touch and people I was supposed to meet. And also that included my husband, but it's not about me ultimately. Yes, I get a nice paycheck, and yes, we have time freedom, but it's not about me. And so always remember that, like, as you're working your business, it's not about you. It's about something greater than you. So that's why. That's why I did it. And that's why I jumped in with fire.
I love that, Brooke. That is so good. I was getting chills too.
Okay.
Security is an illusion. You think you might feel secure in your job or whatever position you are in life. It's an illusion. You just never know when life is going to just throw you a curveball. You never saw that coming. Could have never dreamed, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yes, I love that.
It's true. It's true. And I'm not saying that to make you scared, because I don't think you should act out of fear, but I think you should be smart.
Yeah,
You should be a smart woman. Be a smart woman. And this is a smart thing to do. And so, one of the things that you asked was, what was my biggest obstacle? And I would say that the biggest obstacle, you're welcome, Christine, the biggest obstacle was self-doubt and guilt, like the mom guilt and the self-doubt. And so I would say, if you're a leader of people, just keep encouraging them. Amy Paul was so great at just telling me, oh my gosh, you're going to be diamond in a year. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're doing great. Oh, like always reassuring me, because I did not feel like a person of influence. I did not feel like I never was the popular girl growing up, but I'm a trustworthy, honest person. Like, people know I'm not full of crap, So, that's something that I really have struggled with the whole time, even leading up to Diamond. Like, we all have self-doubt, and we all have times when we feel inadequate. It's something that comes with the journey. And so you can decide to let those self-doubts and those inadequacies stop you, or you can decide to let them fuel you. Because I remember, like, my mom has taught me so many good lessons in life, and I might cry a little bit, but my mom, even with her faith, right? And I remember her telling me a story. She's going through a really hard time in her life, and her just saying, well, this damn gospel better be true, because, just like putting her foot down and just deciding, like, life is really hard and things really suck right now, and I'm really doubting myself. And that might be how you feel, but stomp your foot down and be like, you know what? This damn business, pardon my French, better be worth it, because I know I can do this. And just push back against the adversary, because I don't know what your beliefs are, but push back against those forces that are telling you can't do it, and just put your foot down and say, I am doing this. I can do this. And you're not going to feed me lies that tell me I can't do it. And so it's a constant battle that we have, because he doesn't want us to succeed, and he doesn't want us to be happy and create these dreams and blessings for ourselves and our team. And so you really have to know what he's doing to you. You got to be smarter than him and be like, I know the lies you're trying to teach me, and they're not true. So that's been my biggest obstacle. It's still something that sometimes I got to push back against, right?
How do you push back against that? What do you do? What action steps do you take to combat that?
I pray. I take a break and spend some time with my family. I watch videos that inspire me and uplift me. I read books that inspire me and uplift me and encourage me. Those are the things that I do. Yeah.
You definitely have to take action. It's not something that just occurs to you, like, oh, I think I'm going to believe in myself today. Like, do something about it.
No, I've read a lot of books. I'm gonna walk because I got to plug my computer in. But I've read a lot of books. I've watched so many videos, and I still watch them. Like, if I'm having a rough week, I stick on some, Sarah Marble, or I don't know. I put something on, and I put some, like, great, uplifting spiritual talk on, and I listen to that, and it boosts my spirit, because we all need that on this journey. And don't think that you're above personal development. Like, we all need personal development bad, and that's probably the biggest thing we all need. So yeah, that would be how I've overcome that. And sometimes it just takes time. I mean, my mom taught me, sometimes you just got to sit in the valley for a little while and eventually you'll get out of it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to plug myself in here real quick. Sorry.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll ask you the next question. What do you think were the key factors to your success? What do you think were the couple of key things that got you to Diamond?
Sheer grit, hard work, putting in the time. Like I already talked about, being a lifelong learner. I was very intentional with goal setting too. I really believe in goal setting. And so every month on the 31st or the 30th, whatever the last day was, I would look at the points I had and the people I'd added, and I would look at my level ones, and maybe if I was working closely with some level twos, I would look at them, and I would look at how many people I realistically thought I could help them add to their team the next month. And so I would come up with my number of people that I was going to add to my team by doing that, and I would always meet that or surpass it because I was being intentional, and I was like, okay, I think I can help Becky add 3. I think I can help Emily add 20. I think, and then I would add it up, and the first day of the month, I would reach out in a voice message on my phone, and I'd say, hey, Becky, you had a great month last month. I'm so excited for you. Listen, this month, I would love to see you add 3 people to your team, and this is how we're going to do it. And I would give her some ideas so that I would get her thinking and working from the very beginning of the month. So set very specific goals, and I would also set weekly goals and try to meet those goals. And, I've had a few months where I haven't met my goal. We all do. But set goals, a little bit above the bar, like a little bit higher than you think you can, and do it by looking at each and every one of those people in your level ones and maybe your level twos that you work with. And then reach out to them from the very beginning of the month so that you have a plan. So that really helped me, the goal setting. And then I just think commitment, having a spirit of being committed. It's so easy nowadays to go from one thing to the next and to not be committed. I mean, we see it in every area of people's life, whether it's their health goals, their relationships, their schooling, whatever it is. Like, decide today to be a committed person. Decide today to be someone that people can count on. If you say you can do something, do it. Be that person that's committed. You'll feel better in your heart and in your spirit if you're a committed person. There's nothing that will uplift your soul about being a quitter or not being committed. Like, you're letting yourself down, really. And it hurts your soul when you quit at everything you do. Because inside, whether you realize it or not, you feel like a failure when you quit and you don't commit. So decide to commit. Don't give yourself a time limit. And I didn't give myself a time limit. I just decided I was going to do it. And it was kind of like, well, we'll see where I get. And obviously I set my goals too low, but I didn't know what I was getting into. And I didn't know too that I was going to find a running buddy that would, help me to do amazing things too. So, work with your people, love them all, help them to see their potential, because I'm a firm believer, and I know Brittany wanted me to talk about this tonight, that everybody can get to Silver. Like, everybody knows somebody and everybody has influence. So a lot of times you'll hear people talk about find influencers. Well, yes, I mean, it's awesome if we can all find some rock stars and people that are super huge influencers, but guess what? Maybe you're not going to find some ginormous influencer. Does that mean that you're destined to stay silver for the rest of your life? No. In a few minutes. Yeah. Close the door. Yeah. Okay. Close the door. Sorry. This is something I've thought a lot about because, a lot of people, including myself, did not feel like an influencer. And so if you told me to go out and look for, super influential people, and I would have felt like I was going to fail right away. Instead, I want you to help them to see how they have a circle of people that they can influence, that love them, that trust them, that they have some pull with. And so help them to see the things that are unique about them and help them to discover the people that they could impact. So I feel like, when I got to Diamond, I had 1 emerald, No rubies, and a bunch of golds and senior golds, and lots of silvers. Like, I got to diamond with that. I didn't have a bunch of jewels. I still only have one jewel. I have some gems. Now I have some rubies, a couple rubies and one senior ruby. No, my running buddy is not local. She's in Utah. My team is all over the place. I don't have a very big local team. I have a very small local team. So you can do this with people all over the country. Like, most of my stuff is done virtually, but I'm going to be traveling this year to meet, more of my teams. So anyway, when I got to diamond, I didn't have a ton of jewels, and that's just a lesson to you that you don't have to be, because I feel like anybody can go gold, and just about anybody can go senior gold if they just apply what you teach them. So work on having a ton of golds, a ton of senior golds, getting people to ruby. These are exciting ranks, right? How did I know she was the one? Well, she just decided she wanted to do it too. Like, she was like me 7 to 10 days in, as almost the same exact postpartum story as me. And so we had a lot in common. And so that helped, because we had a lot in common. And, the way that I got her to start working actually is I maybe had like 15 ambassadors at the time. And I sent out an email to all my ambassadors on how to get your products paid for. And she was somebody that it was a struggle to pay for her products. And so she read that email, and I broke it down by, dollar amount. She read it and she was like, well, I need to do that, because it was a struggle for her to pay for your products. So maybe if you have never done that, send out an email to all your people, explain to them what it means, because you might have people that can't really afford the products. And you might have somebody that'll just go gangbusters crazy with you because of that. So that's how I knew. Okay, so do you want me to talk about silver a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so build your team on silvers. Build your team on the power of 3. I know you guys hear this a lot, but it is so true. It is so true. Like, eventually over the course of your career, you're going to have plenty of rock stars and people that become jewels and stuff, that you're going to start out just getting people to silver. And we have a system where we prefer to enroll people over the phone, because if you enroll them over the phone, it's more personable. You can be having a nice conversation. It lets their guard down. By the end of that conversation, they're enrolled, they're excited, they feel comfortable. And then you say something like this. You say, hey, Jessica, I was just thinking, since we've been talking and you've been learning about these products, that you probably know a few people in your life that could use these products. Can you think of anybody in your life right now that could use this? Or, yeah, less confusion too, right? Or can you think of anybody that would love to work from home? And you just put it out there, and don't keep talking, just stop. A little bit of silence is good. Usually people will come back to you with, well, yeah, my sister struggles with this, and my mom needs to lose some weight, and my best friend struggles with this. And I will say, great, this would be so good for them, because I know so many other people with the same issues that are getting help. Do you think that you could send them this short message? And I'll literally type up the message for them, so that all they have to do is copy and paste the message that they would send out to people. And I just say, do you think you could copy and paste this to them and just see if they're interested in learning more? So right off the bat, I'm helping them to share. And then the other thing that we do is we give them, once they're signed up, we give them a little copy and paste what to post on Facebook. And we just say, hey, as you've learned about these products, you've probably thought of a ton of other people in your life that need this. And I know that I was somebody that was really struggling before Plexus, but I was too proud to share with other people. And I'm so grateful that my friend Amy was willing to open her mouth and tell me what she was doing. Do you think you could put this post up on Facebook so we can see if there's anyone in your network that's struggling and could use this? And then you copy and paste your pre-made up Facebook post, and you give it to them. You spoon feed it to them, because it's harder for them to say no if they don't have to make up the words. Because it's scary to make up the words. When you start, you don't know what to say. So we'll spoon feed them the messages for that. And, sometimes they say no, and that's fine. But sometimes they say yes, and that's great. So if you never ask, you'll never know. And you'll have people that don't want to post on Facebook right away. But if you ask them, who do you know that needs these products or could use some extra stay-at-home income, then they'll usually think of people. So if they say no to the Facebook thing, you have the backup plan, which is, well, who do you know? So that's how we get people to start sharing. And then we use a lot of three-way messages, which I think probably you guys use too. But, when that person starts sharing, we basically give them the whole system in Messenger. Then once they've shared, we say, okay, when you have people that are interested, you're just going to say, I'll PM you. You're going to open a personal message and say, hey, Jessica, I just ordered my products. I don't really know how to answer your questions at all, but I know this is going to be awesome. Is it okay if I include my friend Brooke in this message so that we can learn together and she can help give you the right information? 99% of the time, people are going to say yes. So I write that up for them so they can copy and paste it to their interested people in Messenger, and then we start the whole three-way message process. And that's like literally we did tons and tons and tons of those. And it's duplicatable. You teach them to do the same thing with their people. I'm not in a ton of three-ways all the time anymore because my level ones know what they're doing. But when people start, like those first 10 or 20 messages, like they need help. They don't know what to say. They're scared. So I highly encourage that as a means of teaching your people how to share and getting people to silver. So that's kind of like how we get people to silver and we get them to share early on.
That's really good, Brooke. So whenever you're on the phone with them and you ask them, who do you know that could benefit from Plexus? And they give you a couple of names and then you tell them exactly what to say and shoot them a message. What does the message say that when they're first reaching out to their contact?
So it depends on what they're like. If they say they've got a sister that really needs a job, it would be more business focused. If there's someone that's a health issue, it'd be more health focused. But maybe it would say something like this, like, hey, Jennifer, I just heard about these amazing natural supplements from my friend Brittany. I don't know that much about it, but from what I've learned, I think this would really help you with da-da-da-da-da. Are you open to learning more about it? So are you open? So I thought of you, friend. I really think this would help you, and I'd love to share more with you. Are you open to learning about it? So just something short and sweet. If it's the business, reaching out and saying, hey, Jennifer, I know you've been looking for work for a long time, and you've been looking for a way to stay home with your babies and not have to work outside of the home, and budget has been really tight. I just joined Plexus. It's an amazing health and wellness company. I'm really excited about the opportunity because it's unlike anything else. Would you be open to learning more about it? So something along those lines that I would just write up for them. And they can, I say you can personalize it a little bit and tweak it to fit your personality.
That's perfect. So what do you do when your new ambassador agrees to post on Facebook? They post what you tell them, and then crickets. What do you do then? Because I'm sure.
So before people post, I always preface it because I want to set their expectations low because I don't want them to feel like they're not good enough or they don't have influence, because that happens with a lot of people and you don't want them to feel bad or like nobody wants what they have. And so I preface it by saying, you may or may not get any bites on this post, and that's okay. Because we're going to start thinking about some people in your life that need these supplements or this opportunity. But we're just going to put it out there and see what happens. So I just say you may or may not get any interest. And I just tell them, sometimes people think with your first post, like they're not sure if it's for real or if it really came from you. So just know if you don't get a lot of activity on your first post, when you do a second or a third or a fourth post, you'll get more activity because people will see, oh, wow, she's really doing this. She's really liking this Plexus stuff. So I just set that expectation low. But that's why it's so important, I feel like, to not just have them post on Facebook. Like, have them post and tag you, but literally follow that up with, okay, who do you know right now that needs this in their life? And have them like sit down for 5 minutes and just jot down a short list, maybe 20 or 30 people, and then start contacting those people right away. And don't just rely on the Facebook post. And that will save like a lot of that, disappointment from like a slow post,
Definitely. That's a
Yeah.
good tip. I love that. All right,
Yes.
last question, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but what is your top tips for anyone who might be feeling stuck in their business?
If you're feeling stuck, take a look at your IPA. Are you really, truly doing your IPA? Because I know when I'm stuck, it's because I'm not reaching out to new people. And so you have to be honest with yourself. You're your own boss. So you're the only one that knows what kind of activity you're doing. So take a look at your daily IPA and then double your efforts. If you're stuck, double your efforts. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling discouraged, tell your husband, hey, I need an hour, and like go to a restaurant or go to a coffee shop or lock yourself in your room and bang out like 40 private messages. Just the thing that cures being stuck is activity. Don't wait until you're motivated to get into activity. Get into activity, and that will motivate you. So that's probably my number one tip is take a look at your IPA and then get into activity, and that will motivate you. You're never out of contacts. Number two is like keep expanding your social network. Learn about hashtags. Learn how to be better at Instagram. That's a learning process for me. I'm still learning myself, and I'm still expanding my network every single day. Every time I get a new follower on Instagram, as long as they're not wacky, I send them a private message and I just introduce myself real casually. I don't say anything about Plexus, and I try to get the conversation going back and forth. I've had several successful like that then I convert them over to Facebook. And so we start this relationship. This is relationship marketing. So you might have to work at developing some more relationships before you get unstuck. And that's where the patience part comes in, right?
Yeah.
So always be expanding your network if you feel stuck. Join new groups. Get outside of your house from behind your computer. Get out and talk to people. Meet people. Be social. Those things will help you to get unstuck. I think the other thing is, like I already talked about, is learn. Learn new ways to say things. Learn new ways to approach people, because maybe your approach is it's not working. So maybe you just need to tweak it a little bit. Ask your upline, what could I be doing differently? And be willing to receive constructive criticism. Because if they want to coach you and they're successful, you should listen to them. And it's not always easy, to get that constructive criticism. It's not. That if they're sharing things with you, it's because they want to help you and they want to help you get better. So be willing to try different things. Be willing to get outside of your comfort zone. Be willing to be a lifelong learner. Be honest with yourself at looking at your IPA and what you're doing. Get out from behind your computer. Yes, keep growing. Always, always keep growing. Keep working on your personal development. That's the other thing is I feel like most of the time when people get stuck, and even in my own journey, I've had some periods of a few weeks or a month where I felt kind of stuck. I needed to work on myself, and I needed to work on my personal development, because that was the thing that was going to fuel my fire, and I needed to work on my why. And so if you're feeling stuck, do those things and you will get unstuck. Maybe not tomorrow, because you can't rush those things, but the only way to fail is to quit. The way to succeed is to keep going and to keep bettering yourself, because this journey is really just about progression. You're becoming the best possible version of yourself you can be. If you have health goals that you haven't met yet, tackle those health goals. If you have weight you still need to lose, start working on it. Do it, because you'll be an inspiration to people. If you have self-esteem you've got to work on, be honest about it and tell people, I'm reading this book because I want to feel better about myself. Be yourself, but work on yourself, because this journey can be the very best personal development journey you ever do in your life if you let it be. And if you just embrace that part of this business, you will soar. And it might not happen next month. It might not happen for another year. But oh my goodness, look at all the growth you'll do along the path. And then when that momentum hits, bam, things can go really fast like they did for me, right? I mean, you just never know when lightning is going to strike. But look at this as progress. This is personal progress, personal development with a compensation plan, right? So that's that's kind of what I got for you guys. I don't know you, but my hopes are super high for you. And I just want to, encourage you guys, just don't quit. Don't commit. Don't be a quitter. Commit to this journey. Commit to yourself. Love yourself. Honor yourself by being the very best version of yourself you can be every single day. Accept that you're going to have flaws. Accept that you're going to have failures. You're going to fail a lot and you're going to stink at a lot of things. but it's okay. The real champions and the real winners are the ones that just keep going and just keep trying. So that's what I got for you.
Thank you so much, Brooke. You see all those comments just rolling in. They love you.
Aw,
They're giving you a
thank
standing
you.
ovation right now. So, guys, that was 50 minutes of pure wisdom right there from the mouth of Brooke.
Thank you. And if you guys do want to follow me, I'm so terrible. I have like 1,500 friend requests. If you're really serious and you want to be my friend, you got to message me because otherwise I'll never see it.
Or follow her on Instagram. Are you public?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. All right. Well, Brooke,
All
I
right.
appreciate you so, so, so much. This is
Oh,
a lot of people, and you have
thank
added
you.
so much value tonight. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you too. You've added a lot of value to our team as well.
All right. Well, good
Thanks,
night,
guys.
everybody. Thanks again, Brooke.